yogis, thanks for joining me today. Today for our functional flow, it's actually a bit of mindfulness. So for today, it's really short, it's only about 15 minutes. And this is for during those times when maybe you need to recenter and check in. So I don't know about you guys, but I have had a crazy week this week, driving 30 miles through a whiteout twice in one day, carrying a 60-pound dog out of the middle of the street. So, both my mind and my back are really feeling it this week. So I thought we'd take about 15 minutes and work on connecting the function of the mind and how it can be really helpful to center this time of year. And a little bit of movement and some really deep stretching. So if all you have is a few minutes and you really just need to reset and refocus your day, this is a good one for you. You do need a bolster and 2 blocks for this practice. If you don't have them, you could use maybe a big body pillow if you have one of those, or you could use some books or something that'll just get you up off the ground. They're not necessary for the final pose, but they really do make it a lot juicier. So we're going to go ahead and get started. In the interest of keeping it within our 15 minutes here, we're actually going to start with about 3 minutes of a nice, deep, centering forward fold. So let's bring your bolster to your mat, and I'm feeling pretty open through my hips today, but if you are not, you can bring your hips nice and your knees closer together. I'm actually going to open them out. My big toes are touching. Oh my, lots of dog hair. And I'm going to slide the bolster down to about 3/4 of the way down my thighs so that they're coming right into the space between the legs. But I am pretty good with child's pose. It's one of the ones that I do a lot. So if you find trouble getting into this shape, maybe your fold in your child's pose is a little higher, you can always take your blocks and stack them up underneath the top of the bolster to give you more height to lean over. So that being said, put on your favorite Christmas music and go ahead and lower down onto your bolster, turning your head one side or the other so that you don't have to breathe bolster. And I'm going to turn this way so that I can see my clock, and we're just going to melt down over the bolster and start to work into the breath. Think about pushing your hips back towards your heels as you settle into this shape. And maybe starting with the mantra to yourself, I am a better person when I take time for myself. Because it's true, right? If you're always worrying about everybody else, you can't be the best version of you. So start to lengthen the exhales as you melt into this shape. Try to resist the urge to fidget. This is a really good stretch for when you're trying to get into the lower back. We're about halfway there now. Let yourself be really heavy on the bolster, really heavy on the mat if you're not using a bolster. Just let go of any distractions that are seeping into the outside world. And focus on clearing the mind. We're going to push ourselves up off the bolster and go ahead and move it out of the way. We don't really need it again, unless you want it again. You can push that out of the way. We're going to articulate a little bit through the spine and get some of those kinks out of the back. So let's go ahead and find our way to tabletop shape. The hands are right underneath the shoulders, the knees are right underneath the hips. And this time we're going to do our cat-cow a little bit different than how we normally do. So go ahead and curl your toes under. Push into the mat with your hands and your feet and press off the mat, getting the knees up off the mat and round through the upper back here. And then go ahead and inhale all the way up and back to your downward facing dog. And then as you exhale, we're lowering the knees down towards the mat. They can come all the way if you like, or let them hover, and then find a cow shape. So lifting the heart, arching the back. And then exhale, ripple up and back. Inhale, come forward, letting the shoulders lead here. Exhale, taking a few rounds. So we're just going to take about 4 or 5. Again, you can come all the way down to the mat with the knees and lift the head, heart, and shoulders. And then exhale up and back, pressing heels to the mat. We're not strengthening, we're just trying to focus on the body. So adding a little bit of a challenge that makes you think and get up out of your head and takes the kind of routine of it out. So if we were doing just regular cat-cow here, you'd be able to zone out, probably wouldn't even hear me. Start to do your own thing. But because I said, let's take the knees off the mat, now it becomes a completely different situation. Now you have to think about it. Very good. And last one, let's find our way up and back to that downward facing dog. Shake out the shoulders. And then go ahead and bring your knees to the mat here. And we're coming all the way down, actually onto our backs. Keep your blocks handy, because you're going to want them in a moment. So I'm just going to put them a little closer to where my arms are going to be. And I'm rolling all the way down onto my back-ish. All right, so you're going to walk the feet as wide as the mat. Toes can be parallel to the long edges. And we're going to swivel the hips over towards the left. Let the left knee come down to the mat, or the right knee comes towards the mat. The left knee comes kind of hanging over the floor. And you'll feel it on that top leg. So you can bring that right arm to cactus arm. And then let's swivel over. So just realigning the legs here and then swiveling over to the other side. Oops, the blocks are in the way. So you might feel it more on one side than the other. I definitely felt it more on the last leg. I'm finding that cactus arm with the left arm. And then simply swiveling back and forth now. So you can bring your hands to your hips, or you can put them both overhead if you have the room today. When was the last time you gave yourself a break? I mean, like really cutting yourself some slack, right? So dinner didn't turn out perfect, or you forgot something at the grocery store, but it's not the end of the world. Or maybe the kids needed something for school and you totally spaced on it. It's not the end of the world. And coming back with the knees, walking the feet in towards each other, and then using the backs of the legs to help you, rolling up so that we can get our blocks. Okay, so you might need to play around with this a little bit. The first block goes the long way down the mat so that your back, your spine is going to rest right on it. The second block is going to catch your head. We're just going to roll. So starting with about the mid-spine, we're just going to roll back over the blocks. And then the head is going to come to the second one, and your shoulders should fold down on either side of the block here, and the arms can come to the mat. And this should take tension out. So it's lifting up through the heart. Maybe this is an intense back bend for you. If it is, you can take the blocks out and just lay on your back. So the knees are folding together. My feet are towards the edges of my mat. And just melt into this little shape. And we're going to be here again for about another minute, maybe 2. Great heart opener. I ended up getting really tight through the front of my body this week, through the front of my chest, just from a lot of stress, right? Leaning over the steering wheel, kind of curling in on myself because there was a lot going on. Let's just help it to open and realign. If you have the space and you need a little bit more from this, you can reach your legs long down the mat. For me today, that creates too much tension, so I'm keeping my knees bent. Relax my shoulders, close the eyes. Thinking about how much of a better person I can be when I take time out for myself. And all it takes is 15 minutes. So coming up out of the supported fish pose can be kind of tricky. I like to use my legs and my arms and kind of rock myself up and out of that shape. You can roll over to the side if that feels good, fall off the blocks. And then just turn to find a nice, easy seat. You don't have to turn, you can sit whatever way you like. I'm going to turn so that you can see me head on. And from here, we're just going to interlace the fingers, turn the palms away, and take a nice seated cat-cow. It should feel really nice after those 2 stretches. Pushing away, tucking the chin. And then reach all the way up with the fingers, look up, and sweep the arms around behind you. Interlace them behind you and open up. So that should be nice and juicy. And then one more time, so taking the hands, interlacing them, maybe the weird way, turning and pushing away, hollow out the belly, tuck chin to chest, and then inhale, lift. Sweep the arms around and open the heart, squeeze shoulder blades together, tuck the chin if that feels good. My fingertips come to the floor, but that's not an everyday case. I'm going to go ahead and release the hands, shake them out. Switch the orientation of your legs just so that we can be even on both sides. We're going to take a nice side lean. So my blocks are already conveniently placed. I'm going to use those to bring my elbows too. So I'm going to come down onto my forearm and with my left hand and bring my right arm up and over. Look down towards the block. And then come all the way up and over. This side definitely is more tense. Taking a few breathing side to side. Coming back through center. Let the hands rest on the knees. Close the eyes. Functional yoga doesn't always have to mean movement. Sometimes the function of the mind-body connection is way more important to you than the functional physical movements. It's okay to need one on one day and another on the other day. It's okay to need some time to reset the mind as much as it's okay to need to move the body. Sometimes more so, especially during great times of stress, like you might be experiencing now, end of the year, beginning of the new year. It's cold, it's raining today. a better person when I take care of myself. Thank you for joining me on the mat today. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day and come back and take another class another day. Namaste.